some people asked me some questions as I started back doing this, hopping back on social media, starting to post again. One of my friends asked me, he had a channel going and he hasn't been on it like he used to. And he asked me, he said, Rob, how do you get past the anxiety of posting? Because every time he sits down to do something and then press upload, he was like, the anxiety is crippling. And my response was, you don't get past it. I feel anxiety right now as I'm recording this, but I have to decide if my anxiety was going to be bigger than my purpose and just push through it. That was the deciding factor, because what I knew was if I keep doing the same thing, keep putting in the same factors daily, putting the same factors inside of my daily equation, I was going to keep getting the same answer. And so what I felt like I knew was if I do something different, even if it's not great, but even if I'm directionally correct as opposed to 100% correct, being directionally correct is better than hesitating or being stagnant, right? And so that was the thing that pushed me past and made me start uploading again. I had to really, there was a couple of videos I looked at, I sent to him, but a lot of prayer. But that was the thing that I had to decide whether or not my anxiety was going to win. I wanted to see what would happen if I tried. Like, what would happen if I bet on myself? I knew if I kept putting the same factors in, not putting out content, I knew that I was guaranteed to have the same result. And so if I put something new inside of the equation, like effort, like just posting something, even if I put out something bad, I think one of the greatest tricks that, I wasn't going to put this bit in the piece, but I am now. And I'll say that, when you're thinking about putting content out there and you start to look at everybody else's content, and sometimes that can give you confidence, because sometimes you can be like, oh, I'm funnier than him, or, I can sing better, or whatever the thing is you want to do, whatever the thing. It doesn't have to be content. It could be whatever it is. But oftentimes the reality is that you're not even competing against the most talented, the most qualified, the most handsome, the most deserving. You're competing against just people who aren't as afraid as you. They're not the most talented. They're not the best looking. They don't deserve the part. They don't deserve the promotion. But you don't have to deserve the thing and still do the action and still get the result and still get the desired outcome. So all of this, like in your head, thinking that it has to be this perfect, or it's got to look like this, or I want to wait till I get, this type of car. Or I want to wait till I'm making this kind of money to ask this girl out, or I want to wait until I get this type of camera or this type of setup. That's all a lie. And the longer you wait, the more other the more other people who may not be as qualified or good looking or as funny or whatever it is as you, they're going to be getting your money, your spot, their attention, that girl, that date, that job, that part that you're supposed to go for. And so understanding that the action threshold is just lower for those people that are having the success. That is the difference. And I think one of the greatest tricks, okay, if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the devil, this part ain't for you. You can stop the tape right now. This is for those that are strictly believers. One of the greatest tricks that the devil has pulled on us is self-doubt. Oftentimes we rebrand self-doubt as being realistic or self-preservation, but that's all a lie. That's all a lie. That little whisper that gets you to not ask that girl out, to not go for the promotion, to not go for the part, to not start that business, to not upload that piece of content. Those are all lies from the pit of the devil's stomach. We were created to actually create. We come from the master creator. Okay. So it's in our DNA to actually create. And so whatever that version inside of you that you see of yourself, that 10 version, like whatever, when you see yourself in the flow, in the perfect light, that is actually the truest version of yourself. Not at 9.9, at 10. And the difference between that 10th of a point is the difference between greatness and the breakthrough and not. If you're turning yourself down, if you're turning down the volume of your hopes, if you're turning down the volume of your confidence, if you're turning down the volume and you amplify your limiting beliefs, that's what the devil wants you to do. You're supposed to be you on 10, and understanding that it's going to take work, understanding that becoming the 10 is not the easiest space to be in, but it is your calling. So whatever it is that you have inside of you that you see yourself accomplishing, like at the best, or whatever that yearning is, that's it. That's what you're supposed to be. You have to be crazy enough to believe that something special can happen for you. I believe that God moves commensurate to the size of your faith. Small faith, small movement from God. Big faith, big movement from God. Steve Jobs changed the way the world moves. The internet being in your doggone pocket is crazy. The plane. You trying to tell me that I can only stay in the air for about half a second, but a 10-ton plane, or however much they weigh, can stay in the air for 8 hours at a time? That's crazy. But your ideas are only crazy until they work. And then they become innovation. And then they become a way of life. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to know that however you came across my voice today, you have to understand that this was meant to be. I believe in you, and I believe in the possibility of what you can be. It's why I made the video. And remember, the crazier your idea and the more you believe in it, the closer you are to making your own, to cutting out your own slice of history. And more importantly, pleasing yourself, changing your day to day. So I just wanted to share that little bit with you. If you got something out of this video, feel free to share it. If you feel like someone else needs to hear it, please feel free to share it. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for just listening this long, and know that I'm here. I'm trying to get to a set schedule, so I apologize for that. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. This is actually the first time I've actually shot this kind of content, but this message has been on my heart. So I just want to say thank you guys for listening, and yeah, that's it.